segment, and now we're ready to go. And we're speaking with Kristina Schuler, financial strategist, and our conversation is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. She's just in the neighborhood of New Orleans, just north of there, as she speaks with us today. And Kristina, we always have to check on the weather in this summer that is so hot. It's not been hot here in Pennsylvania at all yet. We're going to have our hottest week of the year when we're going to reach the mid to upper 80s this week, and everybody's all panicky. But you'd probably take that, wouldn't you, where you are?
I would take that any day. It feels like 110 degrees here, and ever since May.
Oh, hot and sticky in your area in Louisiana. Oh, man. Well, stay in the air conditioning because I need you to be lucid here as we talk finance, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Kristina, the question, the way it was phrased to us is, where's my recession? I was planning on a recession. They told me there would be a recession. How come there isn't, and what's it all mean?
Well, I would say most of the time we don't really know we're in a recession until after the fact. But we also are seeing job markets are still really strong and consumers are still spending. So where is it? We could be in the midst of it. Maybe it's just not as hard of a hit as they anticipated, or maybe we'll be seeing it later this year, early next.
And our biggest problem, I think, in our neighborhood anyway, remains inflation and the high price of everything. And of course, gasoline is where it starts.
Absolutely. We are still feeling the effects of all of that. There is evidence of hardship. People are actually defaulting on payments, and there's job loss even out there. But what we are seeing is people are more resilient, and I think that's possibly why we're not seeing as much of an effect as they thought.
So overall, on the economy, is it good news or bad news or indifferent news?
Well, I would say right now, economy-wise and even kind of leaning into the stock market a bit, things are looking up. They predicted that even with the stock market, it would be down this year. We would have a tough year. But the market's up over 18% year to date, and it's still continuing to trend that way. So I'll take it while we can.
Okay. So, Kristina, you're going to help us here. I mean, after all, you're a financial strategist. You're a chartered retirement planning counselor. And it's not as if everybody's sitting around with a big pile of money beside them and saying, what do I do with this stuff? But we do need to know, what do we do with this stuff? How are we supposed to be handling finances now? And let's speak, I know that it's specific to the circumstances of each individual involved, but let's speak to somebody and say it's somebody that is approaching retirement within the next 10 or 15 years and haven't really been paying all that much attention to the ability to save money because it's so difficult to do. What should that person be doing right now with whatever their money is?
Sure. I would say any additional money that you have right now is actually a great time with interest rates. If you have cash that you need in the next 5 years, put that into a money market account or a CD earning short-term interest. And then anything you need, don't need as far as cash above and beyond that, I would actually put into the stock market. They do have stocks right now that I said are paying quite well. We can't, of course, guarantee that, but stocks have done historically well over the long term. So I would say start putting money into that. And kind of stay the course, hold it off, and don't try to get in and get out of the market. Just kind of let it ride and let it do its thing so that in 10, 15 years, you're in a good place.
Kristina, I covered my eyes when this all started and just let the stocks sit where they were. I watched some of the numbers come in at first, and I said, well, I can't keep watching this because that'll really depress me. So I just let it ride, and truthfully, I have no idea where the entire portfolio is right now, if I'm up, if I'm down, if I am recovering, or if I'm continuing to slide. Should I just let it ride?
I would. If you are not within 5 years, if you're within that time frame of 5 years, I would say start considering to maybe readjust things, look at where they are, what they're invested in. If it's beyond that 5-year mark, I would let it ride because as the market does recover, it takes about on average 3.5 years. So if you're kind of getting in and out and you're trying to time, and you're actually doing yourself more harm than good.
What about that younger investor or the younger person trying to save for the beginning stages of retirement? Maybe somebody who's in their late 20s, early 30s, starting a family and paying for college as a consideration if they're able to get into a tuition assistance program. Great for them. they should have an entirely different look at the world of finance than somebody who's getting toward retirement, shouldn't they?
Absolutely. So I would say right now to kind of assess your situation, see what cash you have to set aside for retirement, whether it's contributing to a 401k. If your employer matches it, take advantage of that match. And anything above and beyond that you have budgeted out that you can allocate, I would save and go ahead and put that into something such as an IRA account.
I'm guessing that you would advocate that somebody get in touch with somebody who really knows the game too, right?
Absolutely. I think now we're seeing people try to do it on their own, and it's not to say that you can't. However, it is good to have a professional involved to kind of help you, to guide you through those different phases of retirement, whether you're starting young or you're nearing closer to retirement.
Kristina Schuler is our guest, financial strategist. Kristina, some folks, when the pandemic came along, they were able to actually save some money, basically on travel to work and all of the expenses of going to work. Plus, there were some pretty big financial incentives that their companies may have been paying out just to keep them as employees. It really was an employees market when it started out. For those people who were able to save some money, and they have a better financial picture probably than they had anticipated when the pandemic hit. It's not time to go on a big spending spree, is it?
No, and most consumers actually are still spending as if there's nothing, going on. But what I would say is be smart with that money. Again, look at your budget, check discretionary spending, make sure you're not putting it in the wrong places because, hey, if someone's giving you a bonus or a boost, make sure that you're using it wisely.
Should we be watching the fact that it's a presidential election year next year and reacting to what's going on in presidential politics and trying to predict where it's going to go, and should that play any role at all in what we're doing in terms of investments and savings?
So I would say to be mindful of it, but don't let it try to steer your direction and don't try to predict, because we know that, hey, in predictions, they predict a recession, and here we are talking about why there's no recession. So what I would say is be mindful of it. Again, have a professional on your side, but do not try to time the market and get in and out. It will hurt your portfolio.
Yeah, well, that portfolio is a little bit shaky for a lot of folks, and particularly those who invested overseas. I want to talk about that because I was understanding from somebody invested overseas that Brexit played such a big role in what their stock portfolio looks like right now, and their financial planner said, let's go overseas, and then Brexit hit, and all of a sudden their stock, and they lost a bunch of money. Overseas markets are iffy anyway, aren't they?
I would say that they are a little bit more unpredictable. However, they can add some diversification to your portfolio. I just would never have a hard concentration in one particular area or nation or country or things like that. So I would use it as a smaller portion just to kind of add flavor, if you will.
You get a lot of folks right now that are throwing a bunch of questions at you about what they should do?
We are. Our clients in particular, we kind of educate them on the way, and we really work with them with their financial goals to make sure we understand their needs. But in general, I do get questions quite often. And again, that is one reason why to seek a financial professional, to make sure that, you're bringing your thoughts, your ideas, and your concerns to them, and then letting them kind of sort through it with you.
We certainly have some wonderful financial planners here in Indiana, Pennsylvania, and we appreciate their help. Your group is called International Ownership, right?
So we are Intentional Ownership. We're actually a part of Paradigm, which is a local firm here in Covington.
Mm-hmm. What do people learn more about what you do and what your company's about?
So you can actually go to our website, intentionalownership.com, and there you can find more information on how to contact us and actually a little bit more about what we do.
Oh, okay. See, it said international ownership on this information she sent to me, but it's intentional ownership, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Intentional ownership. Very good. Kristina Schuler, thank you so much for the visit today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You also.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com.